Hello everyone. We're at the New Living Expo, and this time we're virtually live because I had a disaster a month ago when I tried to do live during an expo and there was no Wi-Fi bandwidth. So here's the booth, and I have wonderful assistants. I have Jana, who flew down all the way from Toronto to buy a light, and she's been helping us all weekend. It's been really great. And then we have the famous Cindy, who's helping again. And this is the new banner with endogenous DMT, and we have somebody on the light down there. And this is Merlin. So Merlin, you just went on the light.
Yes, hello. My name is Merlin Igors. I'm full-blood Native American Lakota from South Dakota. And I had a real interesting experience today with this Ajna light. And throughout my life, I had a lot of inside bad feelings, a lot of negative things, and I had a great, interesting experience. And my uncle Victor, who has been deceased over a few years, has come to see me, and he's told me that he is no longer with me, that all the things, I should leave things alone because he's not here no more. And it made me feel real good because I've been holding on to a lot of this stuff, his teaching, his beliefs of surviving in this world. And he said, I don't have to be a part of that anymore. And it made me feel good. You know, and I feel good about it, finally.
You had a great smile when you came off the light.
Yes, finally him addressing that he was the cause of a lot of my things. I feel like better about it, good.
And you do sweat, so a sweat is a very similar kind of process of connection to spirit and catharsis. And
yes, the sweat lodge has the same similarities. You go inside the sweat lodge for guidance and asking the creator and the spirits that things that bother you, you leave inside the sweat lodge and you don't bring them out. When you come outside the lodge, you're a new human being, so all your bad things you leave behind. You know, sometimes the world is full of thinking people, and they don't feel from their heart, from where their true feelings are. So sometimes the mind overtakes a lot of our everyday life, and we forget to go back in. So this is what this experience gave me, seeing who I am, really who I am, and the life I should live from now on.
That's beautiful. You know, and I think this was given to you today because you give so much to other people through the sweats.
Yes.
And my journey is often helping the healers.
Yes.
And the light it's really the refined essence of heat. You know, so it's working. It's technology, but it comes from nature.
Yes.
And all great spirit is light, and in every tradition. So I'm sure in your teachings too.
Yes.
And obviously you were able to reach deep into your heart. Now, we designed a journey for you, and I used ILST, and it was mainly clearing blocks, a delta and a bit of theta. And then I also said I'll put in some lambda. So lambda's highly visionary, it's a very high brainwave frequency. But because I could see you're a spiritual person, I thought that would be something coming through. And I suspect your uncle came through because of the lambda.
Yeah.
And you did a beautiful, I asked you to say some words and generate the journey. So would you like to repeat the blessing you said? Is that possible, or something like it?
All I said was, Lataku Chama Washawachina Chantan Mitko always gonna help me. And then a Chunku Luto Hell Money Wachista. So basically I told the grandfather, address him that this is me. I'm a humble man and common person. I try to live the best way I can to help me. Come and grab my hand and guide me on this path that I walk. You know, and that's basically, you know, acknowledging him that I'm not going to do this on my own. I need his guidance. I need his help, you know, to make these changes. You know, so.
That was so effective. And, you know, when I designed ILST, it was for exactly this kind of work, that you set an intention, and then you press the generate button.
Yeah.
And if you'd set it 1 millisecond later earlier, you'd have got a different journey. So your unconscious mind knew how to pull down this journey with your Uncle Victor. I get the angel chills, and it's very clear that this is a guided thing. Even though it's technology can still be used for a blessing. It's not disconnected from nature unless we choose to think it that way. So thank you for coming with your beautiful open heart.
I'm glad I stopped by. I'm glad it's made changes in me and opening up and being more receptive for other things out there that all have input. Positive journey and enlightenment, So.
And we're all brothers, so that's the beautiful thing. I've loved the sweats I've been doing when I was living in California, and I actually have a Lakota powwow drum that was, they took a year making it, and they did all the blessings, so somehow your people are, I feel a little bit, my soul is touched by your people, let's put it that way. So when I found out that you were Lakota, it's like, cool.
Well, thank you so much.
And this is your partner?
My partner, Sarah.
Sarah. And so Sarah, how was your light journey?
The light journey was powerfully cleansing and healing. And the pineal.
The power light?
Yeah. I had a message come through.
Oh, you did with the power light?
That was astounding, and it said, you did good, my daughter. And that was so affirming.
Oh,
it brought
lovely.
tears of joy to my eyes.
Yeah.
Because my whole life has been the intention to do good. So.
Well, we all have a pure heart, and we just put blockages in front of it. When we become naked, we see who we really are. And the magnetics in the power light connect you directly to Source. And Source, you can give any name you want to Source, but Source is the stillness. That's our true essence. So it's very beautiful that you did that. And then from the power light, you went to the Ajna light.
Yeah, and I chose the shamanic drums.
Right.
So that's shaken up my any rigid thought patterns that were left. They've been shaken up, and so it's like a new lease. I can walk from here thinking anything. I'm not chained. It broke up a lot of chains.
So you and Merlin are going to have a party then? A freedom party.
A freedom party.
But really, thank you for coming with your open hearts. It's just so. I come to these places because I know there are souls I'm meant to meet. It's not sort of logical to fly out from Thailand and bring a light, but it's so beautiful, and to see that there is this new wave of hope and love that's simple. I mean, it's really easy. It's not like, you have to learn this for 10 years and then study this. It's just the heart. So when you spoke your prayer, I really felt touched. So thank you so much for that.
I've always been told that, if you grew up with the language that you were given to speak to Creator and all creation, that's what you should always speak in, because you feel more connected, you feel like you're a part, they understand you. But if you try to translate another English,
it's never, the vibration's different.
It's different. So I try to speak my language as much as possible, and in any type of ceremonies, if I've been asked to do something, I would do it. And it's just awareness that I am connected before I even start anything. So,
well, I feel very lucky that you are both here at this expo, and I used to go to New Living in San Francisco like 20 years ago when I was living here, but I knew I was meant to come, and so thank you for bringing this joy.
Thank you for knowing and being here.
Well, we'll be seeing each other again, I'm sure. So, Cindy.
Yeah. I just thought I'd get all of you because
you're
just.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, what were you talking about?
I always talk about the connection, spirituality, these things, what we feel out of it, and what it brings out of us. It brings out changes. To me, it brings out changes and being a better human being.
Right.
And not to be so afraid of doing things in anymore.
Right. And you had an experience with the pyrolite.
Yes.
Did you talk to her about that? Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So Actually, I want to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be seeing each other, I know. So John Chavez brought along his tent, and John and I are good friends. He works with sensory deprivation tanks and the Ajna light. And what we've done is we've set up his tent with it's a very heavy blanket, and then normally the front will be down. And here you can see we've got the power light with the plasma rods and the 5 fractal sound. And people are having a great experience just in this. But John's going to be coming along later this afternoon, and he's got a new protocol where he does a hypnotherapy induction in this tent before putting people on the light. And then this is somebody, we've actually been busy all day long. It's been going really well. So Jana.
Hi.
This is Jana, and Jana comes from Toronto.
Yes.
And you just emailed me out of the blue like a week or so ago, quite recently. And you said, I have to fly to Chiang Mai to meet you. So, what? We'll come before the 25th. And then you said you could come down here.
Great. You were coming to San Fran, so I came here instead.
And it's been perfect. We've had a wonderful time. And, having you on the booth is you're being trained on your new light, but also
Such an
you're giving a
opportunity.
lot,
Such an opportunity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hello,
Behind
Cindy.
you is ready to get up. I don't know if you want to ask him
Oh,
about
yeah.
his experience.
Hello. If you don't mind, we're doing a video, and because I do Facebook Lives every week, and about the lights. So what's your name, first of
Oh,
all?
I'm Chris.
Hello, Chris. And then, how's it being here with the plasma rods and the firelight?
This is interesting. It's a nice way to kind of settle in and ground after the Ajna light experience. It's nice.
How was Ajna for you?
The Ajna light was very interesting. I've
Yeah.
actually, at first there was that
What's going on?
psychedelic feeling.
Yeah.
The ego, am I going to getting in too deep? Is this?
Right.
Am I going to get ungrounded? And then I relaxed into it. I breathed, and it was that old familiar feeling of everything's all right, and just kind of clarity, unraveling some of the knots in my psychic space. Really deep in just 9 minutes.
And it's crazy, isn't it, how fast it goes?
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that all those colors were just my
they're
brain generating that.
totally endogenous. So, have you done much work with psychedelics at different times?
I was. When I was a student out in Santa Fe, I was stoner, mushrooms, extracted my own DMT from.
Yeah, okay.
But that all went away from me a couple years ago when I had my spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
And as I've progressed in psychic development, I've gotten so sensitive that now I don't even touch chocolate because it takes me too far out there.
Right, yeah.
But that light was really, really wonderful. And it was a nice kind of grounded return to that old energy state.
Well, you've done a similar thing to me in a way, but obviously don't. I had an acid trip when I was in medical school when I was 18 in England years ago. And it was, as Aldous Huxley said, it's the doors of perception. You don't need to keep going back, but it opens you up to the point that you can do your real work. And so obviously now your mushroom work and everything gave you that sort of insight to how to connect to that part of you. But the light does that. Once you have that sensitivity, it can take you very deep into human consciousness, not plant consciousness, because the light is who we are. And so it's great to hear that
If you were to sit with it for longer stretches of time, and when I was dabbling with DMT and stuff, I never had that breakthrough experience that people talk about where you're just in another dimension talking to guides who make no sense from a human vantage point. But do you go places like that utilizing the light?
Yeah, people do. It's very individual, and this is obviously a busy environment, but I've had people who they'll see the tunnel, that you see as you die. And one girl in particular, I always remember, she was a very sensitive young woman, and she didn't want to be on the planet. and she came up from the light, again just a 10-minute thing, and she said she went through the tunnel and she saw these light beings, and she said for the first time in her life she felt at home. So, without the inconvenience of having to die first.
Yeah.
And the other thing, obviously, with the light is you come back, you're straight back. There's no detox for your body to get rid of, the biochemical.
If it's too much for you, you roll over.
And you stop anytime you want. You change the intensity, and you choose the kind of journey you want to work with. So it's a real spiritual tool.
Yeah. At first I was afraid of kind of like going too far out of body or something, and then I noticed through the experience that I was still connected to my body, that I was still connected to my consciousness. I could tell myself it's okay. I could talk myself through it, and then when that tension finally dropped and I dropped my guard a little bit and I took a breath. First of all, the lights got really much more interesting right away.
Yeah.
In that settled
When you
state.
surrendered, yeah.
And I had that, that moment when you touch the surface of water and the ripple spreads out, like that sense of me grounding down into the surface of the earth, which is, it's nice to just kind of connect in with the ground like that. So it's a beautiful technology. I'm really excited that you're putting this stuff out there.
Oh, thank you. I came 5 years ago, and I've just been traveling around the world with it. And I was retired. I'd done my work in Silicon Valley and retired in 2002. But as a monk in Thailand, I have a healing center there, and it's just like I was told 7 years of inner work, and then at the end of it, this came. So, oh, okay. So you show up when spirit gives you. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Following the marching orders.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's so wonderful to hear experiences like you that you've done the classic Aldous Huxley thing where you've gone deep and then you've realized, okay, there's more to it, and then you've got the real lesson from it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure.
I have maybe when you're off the call, or I can do it on the call, but I do have a question for you as well. I'm just thinking, I work at this big metaphysical bookshop down in Mountain View.
Oh, which one?
East West Bookstore.
I gave a talk there about 20 years ago.
I was about to say, we still do more
Oh,
than
you do this
300
too?
events a year.